Yo, what's up, Theorites? Just a quick disclaimer about the audio at the start of this episode. Braden fucked up. Blame him. The first 30 minutes is Skype audio, but then regular audio comes back in just before the break. Nothing we can do. Peace.
More than 50 years ago, a small fishing village in Nova Scotia experienced one of the most storied UFO encounters in Canadian history. The eyewitness accounts and testimonies of those who saw a mysterious object crash into the Atlantic waters that evening have made Shag Harbor one of the most cited events when talking about evidence for extraterrestrial UFOs. Ufologists studying trends and sightings for the last several decades have found that just in the last few years, UFO sightings across Canada have been on the rise. While this increase might correlate with the increases in aircraft and aerial drone activity, a number of cases still defy explanation. One event witnessed by John Shepard in June of 2014 produced several minutes of UFO footage that, to this day, still puzzle some UFO researchers. This case file joined the theorists as they immersed themselves in the dialectical mysteries of the Maritimes to dissect the Prince Edward Island UFO sighting.
Welcome to Alien Theorist Theorizing Case File 199, Prince Edward Island UFO boy. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Andrew Bay.
We're back. You are now, if you're listening to this case file, you are listening on all platforms. The Spotify shackles are broken. And we are once again, like a phoenix, we will rise again.
Podcast Ronin.
Having said that, if you listen to our last case on, if you're already on Patreon, you know the story about, the downfall of Spotify and what happened there. But, now more than ever, if you like our show, you listen, there's no better way to support us than heading to patreon.com/Alien Theorist Podcast. Independent podcasting is a really tough market to get support in, and it all helps. So as little as 17 cents a day, $5 a month. You support the show. We provide 200 hours of bonus content. You get lots of goodies, and it really helps out this. So, if you love the show and you're listening and you're ho-humming, you can support that way. And if you still don't want to, that's fine. That's okay. There's another way.
Go on with it then if you don't want to support by.
There's what you can do for free that really helps the show. Just go wherever you listen to podcasts, especially iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review.
5 stars.
Smash those like and subscribe buttons wherever you're listening to, and then just keep enjoying the show because that helps as well. So
on that note, cut in here. Those people who left 1-star reviews saying, "Hey, where'd all the podcasts go?
Shit.
I wanted to listen. I can't find the show." 1 star. We're back, bitch. Go change that review.
Knock,
Come,
open
what are
up,
you
it's
doing?
real.
And we promise not to make this. We promise not to make the sales pitch on every podcast at the beginning for 5 minutes.
no, just this one.
This is one.
That's it. The rest will stay the same. The show is the same. Nothing changes.
Yeah, your boys are we're gonna keep on keeping on. We've weathered worse storms, so
Oh, I'm over it.
yeah, it's all good. We're back. I'm excited to be back.
Oh, dude. I don't know what I'm excited for, but I'm excited for something.
Sky's the limit at this point, right? Anyways, today we're heading back up north. We're heading north of the border, specifically to Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, boy.
I was going to say that he put the title as PEI.
Yeah. Well,
The Maritimes.
Maritimes.
You know?
And precursor. Honestly,
Oh, no.
if you've never met a Newfie, lovely
It's
people.
a treat.
Amazing.
But goddamn, what the hell are they saying?
It's like a weird mix of Irish and
They sound like
Some kind
Pikes.
of weird blend of like, for like Americans, like it's a weird blend of both like Midwestern, like hardcore Wisconsin, Minnesota accent, and then like Maine, Northeasterner, New England accent. Like it's weird dialect, like mashed together, and that's what it sounds like.
Is there an American accent that even Americans can't understand? Because we fucking know.
I mean, there are some accents and dialects that are kind of really like the really hardcore New Englanders. Like they have some that are really tough to understand.
Go
sometimes,
up, fetch me.
the car.
For a supper, I want a party platter.
Yeah, but
I'm
that
going to
one,
enjoy this. Chowder.
yeah, but dude, Pikeys or Newfies, that's a different. Like you can't understand a fucking word.
it's so different. It's almost a different.
Go down there, a brownie screw pal. Go down on a bombardier, hey? What do you think about that?
Bombardier.
Huh?
One with ya.
But fun people though. They love music and they love
They're the
dancing.
best.
They are
They're the fucking best.
I've loved every Newfie I've ever met, except this one guy that had no teeth, who is addicted to methamphetamine that I worked with.
There's always one, you know. You can't like
He ruined him for me, but everyone else, lovely.
the rest of them. They're fine.
Always
All
one
right,
bad
so-
apple. Right?
PEI UFOs. I mean, the Maritimes have a rich history of UFOs. We're gonna get into it tonight. Where are we kicking this off?
Probably going to kick this off with which could possibly be the best documented
Possibly.
UFO evidence.
Is that some Newfie?
video
Dan?
evidence?
Is that Newfie that you're speaking?
No, that's Dan off. The Spotify chains are off. He can pronounce things however he wants.
It's true. They gave me a list of ways I had to pronounce stuff before every show on Spotify every week when we met with our manager. That's how to
I
do
think
it.
they also said you have to wear a hat, so you're not allowed to take that off.
Yeah,
now.
you can.
No, that wasn't in there. That's just a personal
Hats
preference.
off podcast.
It is fused to my head at this point.
That's true.
So we're going to start out with probably the best. There was video footage shot in 2014 in June by one John Shepard, who was camping at the Twin Shores camping ground near Kensington on Prince Edward Island, and with his wife. Now, this video footage was shot in the evening around 11:30 p.m. And he said that he was getting ready to go to bed. His wife had already retired for the night. She was already sleeping inside their tent. And he said that he noticed something out over the water, out of the corner of his eye. And he started to look at it and notice it. And it was something like a little bit, you know, when you kind of see something like you guys ever seen, like just something out of the corner of your eyes, is like it's either like a pattern, something like looks not right, you know, and you kind of look over to it. You ever had that? It's like
Every time I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's called male pattern baldness.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm like, what's going on with this pattern up here?
It sucks.
But I guess there's a little bit of pricklies on his back and on his, you know, on the hairs on his neck, because he noticed this thing that was a diamond shaped light that seemed to be dancing about 75 meters above the water. That's what his estimate was. And it was probably about a kilometer offshore. So those are the numbers that he gave. Now, this object persisted for a while. It sat there for several minutes. You know, long enough for, you know, Shepard. I know we've talked to other people like on cosmic channels and stuff like this where people have seen something, and it's just, you know, a lot of people see a UFO or they see something in the sky and you don't have time to grab your phone. I know we talk about like everybody's got their phone in their pocket and it's like, oh, wouldn't it be, it's not too hard to grab your phone and grab everything, but sometimes it is.
You're in awe. You don't get like you're struck by this
Too busy shitting your
UFO.
pants.
The last thing you're thinking about is film it.
And you're running down your mental checklist of like what this thing could possibly be. Is like, is it a star? Is it worth, you know, is it a star? Is it a satellite? Is it a Chinese lantern? What is it? I don't know. And I imagine like once you run through all that checklist, you're like, the last thing on your mind is like, I'm going to get my phone out and I'm going to record this. Well, this thing stayed out there long enough within his field of vision for him to actually go through and do all that and be like, I should probably take this out on video. And he got several minutes of cell phone and cell phone like cell phone quality footage of this object that sat out there. Now, like a single object probably wouldn't be that noteworthy. Like if it were just a single light, you could probably easily write it off.
People are going to say Venus and Gatorade or Saturn and Powerade or, bunch of other things. But there is a second light in this.
There's a second light that appears right next to it. And, flashing and also in the same kind of uniform pattern that the other ones seem to display. So we have the video, and we can go ahead and take a look at it.
Before we look at this video, two things I just wanted to talk about. If you're going to watch this video, I would highly recommend not watching it on your phone and watching it in a dark room. I first tried to watch this video on my phone, and it was just me looking at my own face in the reflection of the phone. And then also looking at the dust on the phone because I was like, it was too bright. And I was basically using a mirror. It sucked. When I got home and I looked at it on my computer in a darker room, it was much better. So if you're listening to the podcast version of this, you can, what's the video called?
It's called Case 57090 Kensington, PEI, Canada. You can't miss it. Well, I'll put the link in the podcast description too if
beautiful.
If you can't remember that. But yeah, and also if you're watching the live stream, as Braden said, it's a lower resolution video, so now we're live streaming it, so it's going to be even lower, so you can look it up on your own.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, but we're going to play it, and we're going to watch it, and we're going to dissect it frame by riveting frame.
Turning my lights off because this is the first time I'm watching it. I want to watch it properly.
Perfect. All right, let's see what happens here. I think he's got sound with it, doesn't he?
Yep. He does a play-by-play.
I mean, it's a fairly relaxing thing because they're out on it's a beach, it's a beach, oceanside camping ground. So you get the nice waves and everything. It's just kind of nice.
I'm gonna shine a flashlight out there and see if that makes.
So he's filming it from the shore. He says, "I'm just shine a flashlight out towards it." He's like.
So obviously he describes his things being larger, and we know that objects through a camera look further away. So he actually describes this as like a Drador looking like a spin top.
It's time to leave. It's been fun camping.
He's like, it's time to leave camping now. Like that's exactly what we'd all say. Like, nah, and we're out of here. That's enough camping.
Wake up, time to go.
And I heard planes earlier, but I couldn't see anything. It's pitch black.
So we heard planes earlier.
Yeah, but now there's no sound with this light.
Absolutely amazing, though. Like, you can't... No idea what it is.
And it does appear to be pulsing a little bit.
Well, that just could be the camera because it's like the aperture is trying to adjust.
And now the thing is moving and not his hand filming, right?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he is quite excited at this point. I mean, anyone who would be filming or thinks that they're filming
be able to see that.
a UFO would probably have a lot of adrenaline at that point. I think he said he was fairly excited
quite a show
when he saw this thing, so he's kind of he's trying his best to keep it still.
Okay.
I'm glad he didn't try and zoom in too, because that just ruins it.
Video can be enhanced or
like he just kind of has it in normal frame.
View of this, because people are gonna think I'm crazy or something.
Now it's like a 7-minute video, so I gotta see if I can. Where does the second light come in?
So about 3 minutes in,
there it is.
There's another light up above it.
It's gone.
Wait, I didn't see a second light. 3 minutes.
Yeah,
in?
it popped in. You definitely saw it.
Yeah,
it's
definitely saw it.
People are gonna think I'm crazy or something. But I got video.
But yeah, he's fairly excited.
Boom! Second light. Boom! Right there.
Oh, there's another light up above it.
Right.
And then it's like they switch spots though.
Right. And now when I first saw that and I looked at that, I was thinking, remember when I think it was Dr. Michael Masters we were talking to, who was like, maybe that's how we just perceive the craft moving.
It's even higher
in time.
Same shape.
Right, it's like operating like we see it in like a split second, but what's happening to that could have been like a
ring shape,
a long series of events.
Yes, exactly, right? Because it does look like it looked at two places at once, and the last one goes, and it kind of looks like it pulses. It's a really interesting, transition of whatever that was, right? Because one disappears briefly too, and then the one that was the original one disappears.
Kind of used to seeing foxes and stuff out here, not this kind of
Now,
stuff.
at the end, I think we get to the end, it seems to take off out of frame here.
You can see it. It's just it's starting to flicker and dim. And it almost looks like a candle going out.
Or like a Chinese lantern.
Chinese lantern.
A China lantern.
Now
It's fading, and then boom, this blinks away.
Now, the most interesting part of that video to me is the flash of the second light, and then how it pops into frame abruptly. They both kind of flicker, and then the original one disappears.
It's weird, and they're both kind of like synchronized too, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's weird.
So like
it's like they're phasing into each other.
My brain jumped to like perhaps this is
Chinese synchronized lanterns,
or how we, this craft either, using some gravity propulsion or something. This is how us watching that, we're just perceiving it. Like maybe it jumped time or something, or it's beginning to travel to another time. And that's just how we perceive it, is that little jump. Just an interesting transition for me. I kind of got my juices flowing.
I mean, obviously the video is not great. If you just watch that with no context, be like, well, that's a stupid video. But the story is like, it's a little more interesting than that. So let's keep going through the case.
So Shepard, recognizing what he had caught, or perhaps, more not recognizing what he had caught. He didn't know what he had caught on film. It made such an impact on him and had such an influence that he went and sought out, the MUFON network of Canada. So, the Mutual UFO Network. And so Assistant Director Stu Bundy.
What a fucking good
name.
Stu Bundy.
I bet you that guy got
Bundy.
Bet you that guy got 5 touchdowns in one game in high school.
Yeah. He played on the lacrosse team, the water polo team, and for the high school football, he played for the Flounders.
Flounders?
The PEI Flounders by
intimidating football team name.
It's a great team. All state.
All province.
Yeah, all province, pal.
I was all province. Stu, the captain of my team, Stu Bundy, led us to 6 Pro Bowls.
Letterman.
And then he became the assistant director of the MUFON Network.
I couldn't think of anybody more deserving.
Right. He said that there was an investigator assigned to the case, and they pretty much MUFON has like they're kind of interesting when you think about it, because it's like they are an organization which is determined to kind of suss out the good UFO reports from the not so good ones. So it's like when they apply their reasoning to a lot of these cases, it's like a lot of it they're trying to, in essence, they're trying to disprove it. They're trying to, or at least they're trying to eliminate all the possibilities of what it could be. And then once all of those are gone, and the last, the remaining theory of being like, okay, well then most likely it's a UFO. They know what they have, and they can actually kind of put that all together. Now they put out the investigator that went into this case, tried to explain what Shepard had captured on that tape. Now there are Stu Bundy went on to say that there are thousands reports, and there's actually like a UFO survey, like the Canada UFO survey that is done every year. Apparently,
by Stu Bundy. He goes door to door.
That you have thousands of reports of possible UFO sightings. Now, a lot of these can actually be explained. Like there's not a huge percentage. There's probably I think 13% that really go. I mean, when you think about it, that's still kind of a large number. Like if you think about it. That there's still 13% of those that go unexplained. So those would technically qualify as UFOs. Bundy went on to go to say that a lot of these can be explained by either Sirius or the ISS, these kinds of things. You know, now you have Starlink up there too, but
and that's a real thing though, because like, you know, as people are like, oh, you say it, but like me and Zell legit had a UFO sighting that we thought was a legit sighting of a UFO. We saw two stars tailing each other, connect, and then go off as one. And it just turns out that we saw something docking the International Space Station flying overhead.
That's cool. That's really cool.
It was pretty awesome at the time, but at the same time, we were on maybe a little bit of hallucinogenics.
We were on hallucinogenics, and
so
it was
at the time where we went, wait, did we really just see that? And then in the news the next day, like if you looked up at the at the night sky last night,
you may have caught this, and we're like,
yeah,
oh, okay, we did, because it was mind blowing.
It was. We're all standing there like, whoa,
mind bottled.
Yeah.
But the investigation found that neither of those explanations or those prosaic or mundane explanations could fit with Shepard's sighting.
Didn't hold up.
I did go on to find something interesting that MUFON uses an open source computer program called Stellarium. So this is one of those things that you can, it actually has a browser version as well. And you can actually use this. It's like a home planetarium. You can actually go back to, you can put in a date and a time and a location, and it will show you what was in the night sky at that time.
That's
in terms of satellites,
What?
in terms of stars, planets,
badass.
all of those.
How
things.
far back does it go?
At least, I mean, it goes all the way back to like the 80s, at least. Like, I'm not sure. I mean, that's as far as I went back.
Program up here.
With it. I'm not sure how far it goes back.
Did you create an account? Because I didn't create an account, so I can't do that. But if you create an account, you must be able to do that.
I don't know. I opened the browser version and it was like there's at the bottom, it has like date and time. And I just like went all the way back as far as I could, or went back as far as like 1980 because I was looking at some other stuff, like some other UFO sightings.
Yeah, it's like I got to get to the bottom of a couple other
dude,
things.
you can't.
It's right there. Yeah. So
boom.
Yeah, so you can punch in a date and time, and you can look at the night sky or the day sky, and it will tell you what was out there at that time, including satellites and things like that.
What was it?
Hey, bookmark
June
that
2014.
tool. Bookmark that tool, because that's such a good tool when people call in for cosmic channels and they have a UFO sighting. If they can remember a date, we can pull up the fucking stars that day.
Right. I usually use that when I if somebody says something, like they saw something, and then I'm like, okay, what direction were you facing? What time was it? And then you can usually punch it into one of these. Stellarium is probably one of the good ones. There's a couple of apps that do the same kind of function.
Oh, this is dope.
That's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Go all night. It tells you where dusk and dawn is.
Right, and it tells you where stuff's gonna be. So like you can put in a date or a future date if you want to be like, I want to find this planet. For all you amateur astronomers out there, it's
2055. Let's see if the world ends or not.
2055.
Well, come on.
You just said, Dan, you just said that it shows you where things are going to be. So let's see if there's going to be stars in the sky. Hey, we're still good.
There's only
Still
one way to
alive.
find out. Put it to 1977 and let's see if the Death Star is in the sky or not, or in the space. If it's not in space, it's fake. We know this.
What?
Real. Go to 77. If the Death Star is not in space,
why would it be here? But wouldn't it be in orbit around Moon and Yobbit?
It's in a fucking galaxy far, far away, moron.
You can't just zoom in. There's
Wouldn't it be in
a
Yobbit?
Time ago.
there.
It's in the Dagobah system.
No.
Can I zoom in? Oh, I can zoom in.
Yeah. How many parsecs can you zoom in?
Was that Dagobah right there?
Probably.
Looks like it, and I don't see a Death Star. It's not real. It's fake.
What's that? Doobie. Never mind.
Hey, Doobie. That's my new favorite
Doobie.
fucking star.
Doobie doo.
It's bright.
Holy
Check
shit.
that baby out.
Holy. You're gonna fucking land on it?
I'm going right to Doobie.
Enhance.
Man. Here we go.
Enhance.
Enhance. Oh, that's as far as I go. That's as far as I can go. Well,
All right, well,
it's gone.
okay. Later, I'm going to spark one up in honor of Dubé.
Yeah. Go for some Star Wars.
So that's one of the tools that MUFON has at its disposal to try and investigate with. I mean, I figure that would be one of the better ones to be like, first, okay, let's knock out the idea that it was a star or it was a planet or, an unusually bright planet at the time. you can go with those. But MUFON's also got people on staff. They've got drone experts. So MUFON actually has a drone expert, and they, some people are like, oh, maybe it was just like, a high flying drone or something like that out in the ocean. Their drone expert said that's probably unlikely because given that there's a 20 kilometer hour per hour winds at night in that area. So no drone battery would be able to last as long as the lights were there that Shepard observed that night.
Well, and drones have come a long way too. 2014, 7 years ago, drones have like tripled in power and efficiency. So back then they were still like
shitty.
But what about those? What about the military drones that we thought they were working on previously, right? Like we thought that potentially the military had that technology way earlier than the general public.
If this were an area where there were like a lot of military bases were prevalent, I think that would have that would hold water, but I don't think there's a lot of military bases like out there.
Dan, there's nukes in Victoria, pal. Okay, we got this.
Nanaimo!
Do they have a sign?
Nanaimo, Dan.
Do they have a sign?
They have a sign. we know they're not in Nanaimo because there's a sign everyone from Canada knows Nanaimo is a nuclear weapon-free city. It says so on the sign when you come in. Every other city may have nukes. But Nanaimo,
the city of free since 93, pal.
So there are other experts or other people that offered up explanations once the story about Shepard's video footage gained a little bit of traction, and people people took it seriously. Like a number of people kind of came up and offered up explanations about what he saw. So you had Paul Gray, who was the Halifax president of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. And he's been an amateur astronomer for 27 years, which at that point I'd be like, well, why are you not an expert at 27 years? But like,
just because he's not getting paid.
I guess, yeah. He's not professional because he's not getting paid. So that makes sense.
He's got the expertise, but he's not a professional.
Now, Gray.
We were professionals. We're now no longer professionals.
Amateur
we're
podcasters.
No longer professionals.
Gray believes that Shepard may have filmed a flight, an Air Canada flight, which was approaching the Îles de la Madeleine airport, which is out across that bay. It is directly across that bay, and says that airport's runway directly in line with the area of the North Shore where Shepard was filming. So this is a possible explanation of what that was. So
like the aircraft put its landing gear down or something. And
yeah, he's saying that normally landing lights in the aircraft are turned on like 10 to 15 minutes before landing, and they can be seen as far as 160 kilometers away. And the Île de Madeleine airport is not, it's definitely less than 160. Like it's not that far.
Well, he's got like 25 minutes worth of footage though altogether. Like there's several videos.
There's
no way it took that long to land.
Also,
right?
The one issue I have, I would say, you know what? That's a reasonable conclusion. All the facts you're saying, if I were to read that, see the facts, I'd say, hey, that lines up. That's probably what happened, except for the second light.
Right. And that's something that, people can definitely challenges that theory where you can be like, okay, where'd the second light come from? Because were the planes like landing on top of each other? Like that's the question I would ask.
Docking each other.
Yeah.
Dude, that airport though, I'm looking at the map.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a smaller island way off of PEI.
How far away is it from?
I'm going to guess by the legend. I'm going to say 20, 40, 60, 80, 120, 40, 60, 80. Dude, at least minimum 200K.
And you can see him from 160, right? Is that what we... Because the other interesting thing too is like I was listening to an interview with this guy, and he was saying like while he was filming, it was so overcast that night he could put his hand in front of his face and he wouldn't be able to see his hand. Like it was crazy overcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if it was overcast, there's no way.
Yeah, there was talk of dirt coming.
Talk of dirt coming for you, bae.
There's talk of dirt coming for sure.
Who's your father?
Zell, just really quick side note. I hadn't just an absolute colossal failure.
Oh God.
Lost the recording. I just hit re-record.
You lost the whole recording.
Everything.
Scold him publicly. Scold him.
Shame him. Shame.
It's now re-recording. Good thing we're not on Spotify. No, it just
Show's over.
absolute
Show's over.
critical error.
I'm hanging up.
Rebooted the Pro Tools and I'm re-recording.
You handled all that very calmly, by the way. I will say,
Well,
like you don't even look
you
like
know
you're
what?
sweating that much more. So
If you were in studio, it might be a rock bottom through the table, but I can't get to you. So what am I going to do?
put
You're
that
just
rock
there.
bottom on layaway.
I can't get
marinate for a
through.
bit.
I can't get through the webcam.
Yeah.
So what can you
There's
do?
literally
It's
nothing I can
happened.
do. Critical failure. I got some error code I've never seen before.
You're worse than Andrew.
Then it's unexpected error.
It's worse than
The
Andrew.
program just closed, and I was sitting here just side-eyeing it, going, "Ooh, this is not."
Is
good."
me being bad even a thing anymore though? This is Mongoose Studios is a well-oiled machine now. We're installing
works.
hard drives, boys. Things
Works
are happening.
flawless.
Mongoose Studios 2.0.
I apologize profusely, and
Well,
I accept all shame coming my way.
Shame. I'm
everyone
shake my bell
publicly
at you.
shamed Braden for his terrible.
Shame.
Sorry.
Let me make a note saying
he needs-
first half of podcast not usable.
Exactly. And Braden's also going to march naked while we shake
Shame.
bells at him, saying shame.
Shame.
Oh yeah, there'll be some shame.
There'll be some shame.
On a personal level, there'll be a ton of shame.
Like we mentioned before, what is it? You refer to them as the Maritimes.
Yeah.
Do have quite a history of UFO reports. Now, I mentioned the Canadian UFO survey earlier, and this is actually like a nationwide survey that began in 1989, and they've actually been finding in the last couple of years, UFO sightings have been on the rise, and specifically
we got a flap, baby.
So specifically in 2020, there were 1,243 UFO sightings recorded in Canada. And this is probably the highest or one of the highest total numbers of UFO reports recorded in a single year since it began in 1989.
Yeah, and the reason is because everyone was stuck in lockdown, sitting in their backyards,
Staring at
not
the
being
sky.
able to go out, and all they had to do was keep those eyes on the skies. And guess what? Canadians listened, and they did. And guess what? They saw fucking UFOs. Told you so.
Thousands of
We've been
them.
telling you every week.
Yeah, but also though, like as the years go on, there's going to be more and more shit in the sky, is there not? Like we got fucking drones, we got planes, we got fucking everything.
Yeah, but those
Like
are
there's
easy.
more lights in the sky, more than ever.
And
Here's
you're
the
right about that. So you have all of that stuff in the sky, but like I said before, that specific report in 2020, 13% of all of those UFO reports were classified as unexplained. So those are the ones that would most
By
likely
MUFON?
by the Canadian UFO survey.
Okay.
Which includes
Seems legit.
that's MUFON as well. So the Canadian UFO survey actually pulls its data from a couple of different UFO organizations within Canada, MUFON being among them. I think it's like 6 or 7 actual ones that I think each province kind of has its own. And then MUFON has like a whole national network as well. They aggregate all the data and put it together in a nice little report, which they've been doing for the last couple of years. One of the findings that they found was interesting thing is that you would think that a lot of the times with some of these UFO reports, the spikes you'll normally see are in summertime. And I think we've talked about this before, where it's usually because in summertime, because it's nicer to be outside. You know, it's not wintertime. Everybody's inside trying to keep warm. So that's why that could account for the rise in these things. But the interesting thing is with some of these reports, especially in the last couple of years, in Canada specifically, you see actual jumps in April and in August, which is strange.
None of those in August are coming from BC. I can promise you that.
Yeah, because
Can't
all
see
you see is
anything.
smoke.
There's
Just
nothing.
smoke. Thick, no one needs to smoke cigarettes anymore. You just have to walk outside.
It's awful.
Smoking trees, baby, smoking trees.
It's that's an interesting in April and August. Now, just speaking from, Vancouver Island, this is obviously West Coast. This is literally a world away from fucking PEI. But usually in April, we get a nice break from winter, and it's usually unseasonably warm in April with like unseasonably warm temperatures. So it's like we will go from like rainy winter to like beautiful like mid 20s weather for a month in April before we get like May kind of goes back and we get a little more tail end of rain. But like since I've lived on Vancouver Island, that's been the case. So I wonder, it's very similar East Coast as well, where maybe they get that really nice April. So it's like, everyone's instantly pushed outside because they're like, oh, it's so nice. Winter's over. We're getting this nice break in weather. And people are outside more in April than they are in May, June, July, because you just get busy again. And it's in April, I really enjoy my Aprils. We do the running challenge and stuff because I have nothing planned. I'm coming out of winter where it's like, we get the rainy season and all of a sudden you get this nice weather and you have nothing planned. So it's, I'm outdoors all the time in April. I'd probably do the most
practicing that wiffle ball changeup.
Yeah, practicing wiffle ball changeup. And I probably get more camping done in April than I do the rest of the year. So it's like, to me, when you say that, as surprising as it sounds, when I think about it, I go, well, no, that's me in a nutshell, because I go, in April, I enjoy it. The rest of the summer, I'm busy. And then usually by August, right around this time, I'm going, fuck, it's August. I got to enjoy the rest of the summer. Rainy season's right around the corner. Like, I got to fucking get out and...
Yeah, but you're not talking for all of Canada.
I am. You know why? I'm an average Canadian, right across the board.
No, because I thought when I went on tour with the band...
Less than average in some aspects.
Yeah.
I went on tour with the band in April and May, and we were like, oh, we're going to camp, because, we're from interior BC, so camping season starts like mid-April. Not anywhere else in Canada. It's fucking snow and ice and shit. No one's camping yet. Only in BC. Maritimes, I'd imagine it's rainy as fuck and probably still freezing. Doesn't snow maybe as much, but...
So what you're saying is a lot of talk of dirt coming. A lot of talk of dirt coming.
Talk of dirt coming, boy.
Talk of dirt is.
Yeah, talk of dirt coming.
Talk of dirt coming. Who'd have had her?
So possibly that could be an explanation for like I said, this is an aggregate of all Canadian UFO sightings. So perhaps the spike in April is that BC, like that Maybe. Is the more people are getting out camping for camping season. That's when it begins. So then you have a lot more people outside observing UFOs. Could possibly be.
Perhaps.
So now you have, this is not the only UFO sighting within the last few years. Like the 2014 sighting by John Shepard is not the only one. It's not an isolated incident. You have other UFOs, and you have another video that made its rounds in July 6th of 2021. And this one was 5 UFOs that were spotted near Carbonear, Canada, which is a little bit northeast of Prince Edward Island, out like farther out towards the Atlantic. And this one, these people caught 5 of these floating orange lights that they couldn't figure out what it is. And I don't think there were any really specific answers given as to what they actually saw. So
not only did they catch 5 UFOs, but they also created absolute comedic fucking gold in this video.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play that video, but first we got to refill the beers because it is gold.
Fucking gold.
We'll
gold, Jerry.
Right back. Gold, baby.
Hey,
we're back.
The boys are back.
Yes, bye, we're back.
So we're talking specifically about the July 6, 2021 sighting.
This seems fucking recent.
Like, it seems pretty recent that there's another UFO sighting not too far from where John Shepard saw his sighting. And there's a couple other ones as well, but this one definitely sticks in your mind for more than one reason.
Yes.
More than one reason.
It's the best. This
All
is the best video I've watched since I've been part of this podcast.
It's the best UFO video I have probably watched ever.
All right, here we go.
I think you got to rewind it there, Zell.
Oh shit, we're at the
Yeah,
far.
you
Okay,
fucking
back to start.
blew
Back to
it.
start.
They were shouting the same thing up in the States. There were UFOs. Told ya. I seen them last night.
You sure they're not Chinese lanterns?
No, Ann, they're way too big, boy.
I don't know.
They're way too
Ann,
big,
you
boy.
don't show up big like that. They're only little tiny things. We're telling them.
Only
What
little
are you
tiny
calling,
things.
This video is pretty amazing.
But
though.
that's
See how
that's
far
what
close we can go.
that's what Shepard saw. Is
You're
those
not
two
no
lights
Chinese
like right
lanterns.
underneath each other.
Just like
1,
that.
2,
Yep.
3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 though. They're saying
Hey,
to
it's
see.
two gone.
There's 2 gone. 4.
They're way too big for Chinese lanterns, Ann. They're way up the sky. Chinese lanterns are small. They were shouting the same thing up in the...
This is a great description.
So good. But the best
they're
part
not-
is
They're just Chinese lanterns, and
Go on with you, Ann. They're too fucking big now. They look like fucking Bombardier up in the sky there, pal.
go away with Jan. Who's your father? They're just a couple Chinese lanterns.
Go on with you, Ann. I know you're not fucking stunned there. It's too fucking big there. I seen them when I was on Ernie's crew.
Go away with Jan. There's talk of dirt coming. We wouldn't even see these tomorrow. No one's launching China lanterns.
Go on with you, Ann. You're some fucking crook now. Way too fucking big.
Go on with Jan. Who knit ya?
Go on with you, Ann. You got it shagged up.
Oh, go on with Jan. You got on me nerves.
Go on with me, Ann. You got me drove.
Oh, go on with Jan. I know you're not stunned. You got me right rotted.
Go on with you, Ann. Where'd you be by?
Oh, go on with Jan. Look at yourself. Your hair is like a birch broom in the fritz.
Go on with you, Ann. Your eyes are like a caplet and going offshore.
Oh, go on with Jan. Yeah, I took a gander, now I'm taking a gawk.
Oh, you never took a gawk in your life there,
Oh,
Ann.
they're just lordy.
Hey, get you around the fucking corner there,
One your
Ann.
mother and a father.
Oh, you'd lodge it on the bridge there, fucking Dan.
Telling jigs and yawns.
Mine's you now.
Hey, go on to your Sunday mean by.
Yes, bye.
Hey,
yes,
no
bye.
kidding,
yeah.
Mind
Yeah, I
your
guess-
mouth, you old trout, eh?
Yes, yeah. The talk of dirt coming.
Talking dirt coming. All right, go away with ya.
Go away with ya.
Basically how it went.
That's pretty much how it went. I
And
think.
that is 100% how it went. My favorite part of the video is where the subtitles cut out. There are subtitles that are put out, and the subtitles cut out because I'm pretty sure that the person subtitling it had no idea what they were saying.
He's just like, I fucking
I
quit.
don't know.
Poor intern working at the New York Post being like, I don't fucking know what happened here.
What the fuck are these?
What's up with these
Fantastic video though.
Canadians?
That is a great UFO video. I think so.
Phenomenal UFO
It shows them.
video.
It shows them very
It's
well.
amazing. But it's got the two lights. Like we said, there were 4 lights, but there's 2 lights on the far right side that are lined up right underneath each other. It looks very similar to what John Shepard saw in 2014. So there's something
Yeah, very similar.
very similar. So there's something to be said about that. I think that you can find that these lining up these 2 lights are, like Braden said, maybe it's all the same light. It's just at different periods in time.
Right? Well, they say in the video that 2 disappear. Right?
They say 2 disappear, and then they zoom out though, and then there's 2. Then they're back. There's 4.
Do you mean to tell me that Anne is so stunned that she zoomed in on her phone and was looking like 2 disappeared, eh? And she's like, "No, Anne,
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Go away with ya, zoom out." And she's like, "Oh yeah,
Go
there they
away with
are."
Go on with ya.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
See, what I think originally there was potentially 6 lights. Because we only ever see 4. And she counts them 1, 2, 3, 4. Briefly after, she says 2 have gone. And then we see 4 again. So what I think is either there was 6 lights, 2 vanished, or 2 of the 4 vanished and then reappeared. But either way, that is fucking phenomenal footage.
The footage that's a better video than the original, actually. It's
undeniable.
4 glowing orbs.
So that's like
Unequivocally.
UFO sightings not only from that area. You have another sighting from 2018 on Prince Edward Island itself, and there is a man named Jim Bruce who had a sighting around the last day of September around 11 p.m.
That's a fucking man's name. That is a man's name. Like, come on.
Manlier than Stu Bundy.
That guy, listen.
I'm Jim Bruce.
You talk shit to Jim Bruce. That guy's going to get you an
listen.
uppercut.
I don't know. I've heard never trust a person who has two first names.
Hey, listen, Dan. Jim Bruce was so serious that they had to fucking slang his first name because James Bruce was just too much. They're like, hey,
too
he's
strong.
Whoa.
Really? Well, I heard Jim Bruce has got a toenail on the end of his penis.
Oh no! Is that
why is that so funny?
Is that the pinnacle of masculinity?
That's pinnacle.
You don't know what that's from?
Of your penis.
You don't know what that's from?
Toenails like that. I should.
Oh, come on, that's vintage Will Ferrell.
God
Oh,
damn it.
fuck.
Bill Brasky.
Bill Brasky.
Come on, man.
Oh, fuck, that's funny. Toenail.
I lost it. I can't keep it together now.
Jim Bruce and his fucking toenail.
So that is a possible reason as to why the UFOs came to investigate Jim Bruce, because he saw these objects flashing and just stop dead out from his point of view, where he was viewing these things in Sturgeon, and he reports that they shot in a 90-degree angle toward his home, stopped again, flew in a circle, hovered, and then he's quoted as saying it shot off and disappeared over the horizon faster than any satellite I had ever seen.
Now,
Faster
I
than
had,
anything I've
from
seen.
what I had, because I tried to dig into old Jimmy Bruce, and the one thing that I noticed about this is that, again, no sound, right? Like this, whatever this object, there was no description of any sound. Right. So there was, you think if these things were shooting like this, if it was an airplane, you would hear it, or a drone, you would hear it. But there's no description of any sound that I could find.
And we get that with a lot of UFOs, where it's like people see these things and they say there's absolutely no sound from these craft of whatever it is. You'd expect to hear something, that could be an indication of what propulsion methods that they're using. Obviously they're probably not using traditional,
not fossil fuels,
turbine generated lift or anything like that, like we use with our craft. But even then, I would still think like, oh, maybe you'd hear some type of sound, whether it's kind of like the expansion of air or like moving expansion, or the filling in of voids of air where a craft would be. I would think you would hear perhaps something. Even generating like an electrical field will still make some type of sound,
hum or something. But yeah, the fact that they like snap over the horizon, it seems like they should cause like they're breaking the sound barrier. Right. They should cause a like sonic boom. Yeah. And so many sightings, they have no audio. They're completely silent. So we gotta imagine that whatever technology they're using to travel that fast is altering physics as we know it. Like, cause there's no way, like there's no possible way that we know of that you can shoot a gun and have it not crack like that. Right. Like an instant acceleration.
Yeah.
So whatever they have is like something well beyond what we know.
Like unbelievably fast.
Now, probably the most natural question you can ask is why would certain craft or extraterrestrials perhaps being interested in this area of Canada, of northern Canada?
Why wouldn't they be?
But you got a guy walking around with a toenail dick.
Goddamn Jim Bruce answers it right there.
It's because you have guys like Jim Bruce and Ron Pond that inhabit this region of Canada. Just men of men.
Yeah, men of men.
And the aliens are intrigued of the quality of these men.
Well, I don't think
Stu Bundy?
I don't think Stu
Lance
Bundy's
Kincaid's from there too.
I don't think
he was born there and he left that area.
Yeah. That's
something in this area makes men of men.
We got a fucking regular Bermuda Triangle of fucking men's men. forming in the
Damn
Maritimes.
straight we do.
Right? Like, I guarantee you can form a triangle between Ron Pond, fucking Jimmy Bruce, and Stu Bundy, where they live. Perfect triangle. Boom. I bet all the UFOs around there.
Wait, you're telling me 3 points together if you connect them all, there's a triangle?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm saying you find out where they are at one point, they're always forming a triangle. I bet wherever they are.
Perfect scaling.
It's the fucking. It's the man's triangle.
Yeah.
It might be shocking for you guys to understand this, but us BC boys are from the furthest distance away from that possible.
We're nowhere close.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Nah, yeah.
So
is there a way to invert a triangle?
And we mentioned Ron
triangle?
Pond, whose origins stem from the Shag Harbor incident. Shag Harbor is not that far from Prince Edward Island.
Of course, it's part of the man's triangle.
Right. It's right down in there. So it's
Right
like you
there.
have this, is perhaps the Shag Harbor incident something that was the catalyst for something happening here? Are they still looking for whatever crashed? Because that was a submerged UFO incident.
Yeah.
It was transmedium. It went from air to water.
Now, here's the thing. Dan, you just sparked something for me. It's like maybe Shag Harbor sparked this thing off, but maybe these things haven't found what they're looking for.
Right.
Right?
They've climbed the highest mountains and they've
sailed
still haven't found what they're looking for.
Yes. It took a second for them to land, but that's gold. That's great.
They still haven't found what they're looking for.
But
what they've been looking for.
I fucking blew it on this because I listened to this. Okay, so John Shepard came on the Nighttime podcast and they interviewed him about this whole incident, and it was really cool because he was said because they stayed at that camping site, right? They were there for whatever. I think it was over a week.
Hold on, I'm confused. Which incident? The toenail
Back
dick?
to the original. Not toenail dick.
Not John Brasky or whatever, John Brown or
Jim Bruce.
Jimmy Bruce.
Okay, the first guy.
Stu Bundy.
No. Shepard. John Shepard.
Commander John Shepard.
Commander John Shepard. They stayed at that campsite for a week. And he said the night after, there was a fucking helicopter all blacked out flying really low over that entire area. And it did about like 5 or 6 fucking sweeps.
Are you talking about John, or you're talking about Don Ledger?
No, I'm talking about the fucking guy that saw the UFO the first time, John Shepard.
Yeah, John Shepard. Yeah, okay, sorry, my bad.
Keep up.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were making a joke there.
No. He's drunk. He's just fucking drunk.
He just asked who it was. We told you. You asked who it was. We told you. Then you reassured yourself with the wrong name.
Listen, I've had 6 drinks.
Too many lemonades.
I wasn't listening the first time, and then I was like, okay, Andrew actually sounds like this might be interesting. Who was it again?
John Shepard. John Shepard. John Shepard's also working on a script for this incident, by the way. But that being said,
is he really?
The military. Yeah, he talked about it. And the guy interviewed him. He's like, so who's going to play you? And he's like, well, myself, of course.
Right. Of course.
All right, dude. All right, that's cool. Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So that brings the
like
idea
a blacked
about
out chopter.
Yeah.
Low and flying low.
Chopter.
I'm gonna start calling them that. Chopters.
It was a big old chopter.
He made it very clear. He's like, I wouldn't know what a military helicopter looked like, but this looked like a military helicopter.
That sounds really weird.
Yeah, right. It's like, what?
Okay. So how would you know what a military helicopter looked like if you didn't know what a helicopter looked? Okay.
Guy's a beauty though. It's super cool. But the thing is like he's making his script and all that, and he's like, why don't I use this to make? He even admits he's like, why wouldn't I use this to get a few minutes of fame here? But
that's
at the same
what we
time,
would do too. That's what we would do too.
But he he didn't make it up. He's got the fucking video. It's not like he's fabricating anything. He's got a video, and he's open about saying he's like, I'm not sure if this is a UFO or not, but it's fucking weird. It doesn't make sense, whatever this is. Sorry for derailing everything with that.
No, that makes it's
that was good.
Get that back in. Get that in.
Yeah. So it's you kind of wonder whether like if these UFOs are here to find something or they're here to retrieve something. What
could possibly be in the fucking Maritimes that these things
the manliest of men? They're probably going there collecting sperm. They want to make fucking super soldiers.
Or there's another mysterious site that's located in that area.
Oh my God, they're going after the fucking Templar's gold. You son of a bitch.
Right?
Island.
You son of a bitch.
Right?
Oak Island. That's the center of the triangle right there.
Go on with you.
It's not, but
It's not.
which we,
I mean,
we should move.
I mean, if you put another point
If you
like farther out into the Atlantic,
if you extend it way out.
Wait, no, in that treasure box, there's just the most manliest thing ever. That's all it is. There's no
Burmeister.
treasure, just manly shit.
manly stuff.
I know Burmeister's listening to this.
Sports Illustrated and a fleshlight.
Old
I want a
football.
picture of Oak Island on a map and just draw a triangle around that and go Ron Pond, whatever cities are closest. I don't care. And just put the man triangle around, right perfectly around.
Bundy and
Oak
Jim
Island.
Bruce.
Yeah. Bundy, Pond, Bruce.
Jimmy Bruce.
So Oak Island is actually located not very far from either of these places. It is up there in Nova Scotia as well, in that northern part of Canada. And it's even been associated with UFO sightings in the past. So you had two brothers, Sam and Davis William, who were on vacation at a rental property on West Beach Drive in that area. And they said they had actually spotted a lighted object over the water around dusk in 2009, July. Now, they had described as this object being a single row of colored lights, which is a little bit different than what Shepard and the other video that we showed what they saw, which seemed to be the colors seemed to be kind of like a light amber color. It's not necessarily changing colors, but maybe these ones were actually closer to the witnesses. And they said these lights were changing from red to white to blue, and that they hovered and maneuvered for less than a minute, and then they kind of hung out there. But they were clearly visible in the dusk. Like sunlight.
Listen,
it wasn't
Sam Williams and Davis Williams. Those aren't strong names. I don't believe them for a second.
Not very manly.
Credibility's down.
That's deep classified United States top secret military craft. Who else?
That's
is
a
flash
3
those
on the
lights?
From Bruce scale for manly names.
Yeah.
For manly names.
Sam Williams. My name's Sam Williams.
Well, they're not. Yeah, they're not from.
Or Sam Bell.
They're not from the Man Triangle. They're from Missouri, I think so.
Oh.
Or no, wait, I don't
That's
know.
a
What's
whole-
MO? Is that a province? Is that?
MO?
Manitoba?
No,
It's either Missouri or
it's Missouri.
It's Missouri.
Yeah, it's a whole different triangle down there, you know.
It's curious. It's curious that the red, white, and blue, right? Like, to me, those lights, I'm like, I guess, was this July 4th?
I was in July. It was July 28th.
Maybe they're off. I'm just like,
They're still partying.
yeah, they're still the red, white, and blue flashing lights to me. I'm like, what?
I mean, yeah. When they say red, white, and blue, to me, it sounds like that's more like an airplane, because it's more like that's green. It could be. It's they have green lights, but they could possibly have been farther out, or certain atmospheric conditions can alter the color a little bit, or the perception of color. So it could probably be like, oh, it looked like it was red, or it looked like it was blue, but it's actually green. So I don't know, but people are seeing UFOs over Oak Island, which is possibly, we've talked about, is the possible resting place of a number of artifacts, including Ark of the Covenant, could be Templar gold, Templar secrets, some type of that.
The man's triangle of treasures.
Man's triangle. But there
UFO,
could possibly be something. It is the
base.
location of the money pit, so it is something is down
Something's
there.
there.
Was that shitty
Something there.
movie?
The money pit.
Yeah, that was a terrible movie.
There's a movie called The Money Pit. It was
You've
about
never
this.
seen Money Pit?
I don't watch any movies. I don't watch any movies
Oh
anymore.
my God, you guys are killing me. It's actually not a terrible movie. It's a good movie.
Okay.
It's got Tom Hanks in it. Come on.
Okay. Well, gives a couple of extra points.
So
Like,
then,
who is Olive Oil from fucking Popeye? What's her name? She's in The Shining. No, she wasn't in The Shining. No, she's from Cheers. What's her name? The blonde. Shelley Long.
Shelley Long. You think it's Shelley?
Tom Hanks, Shelley Long. Yeah.
So
perhaps if these UFOs are here looking for something, that could be a place that they would be interested in, or they're looking for something there.
Treasure.
Here's
that makes me think that dude, I buy into what's his name? What's Dr. Michael Masters? People coming back in time looking for fucking treasure.
Right? Okay, I was on the same brain.
Treasure?
Obviously, whatever they're looking for in their time is gone. Whatever's been found is found, and they're coming back in time in hopes of finding it. Right? They're like, maybe if we go to 2020, maybe it's still there. Right? And they come and they're like, oh, fuck, it's not here.
I dig it.
Well, what do you think it is? What do you think they're looking for?
Holy Grail.
Yeah, why not?
Well, the Holy Grail's, what do you mean? What's the Holy Grail then to them?
Well, what if, what wasn't it Anunnaki who with gold was like their fuel or whatever?
Monoatomic gold.
Yeah, so maybe that's what's in their chest. Maybe they're coming back looking for it.
And it's only in this specific location?
Yeah, that's the biggest, that's the most of it. Special Templar fucking...
I'm not going to poo-poo the theory. I think it's possible. Or because there's so many sightings around this area, the Maritimes. What if, because we always talk about, okay, maybe like, extraterrestrials they're not coming here from somewhere. They're already here. And we always talk about like they have like maybe underground or underwater bases. Maybe there's just a base off the coast. And that's why there's so many sightings.
So another thing I would say about the underwater base theory is perhaps you could draw a connection between there has been a marked decrease in the population of North American right whales in that area. So from the Bay of Fundy, which is right there underneath there, there's actually been an observed decrease in the amount of right whales there. They said they would have like tons of them coming there, and from the last couple years on, like there have virtually been none. Like the area's been devoid of these whales, which are a critically endangered species. Like they've just been gone. Like they don't know where they are anymore at this point.
So they're getting abducted?
No. Listen. They're getting pushed. Hear me out. In Vancouver, for the past 10 years, there's been an initiative to lower the amount of ship noise underwater, right? So ships, when they come into the port of Vancouver, dial right back. And that's because a couple years ago, they realized that orca whales and stuff were not coming around the area because of all this ship traffic and the noise. The underwater noise is almost deafening to them. So there's been this big push to slow ship traffic down around the port of Vancouver when they're coming in to allow the orcas and stuff, to reduce the noise so they can come back in the area. And we've seen that that's happened. They've actually said that this initiative of slowing the traffic down has been a success. They've seen orcas coming back in the area. So obviously the noise levels are back, and whatever frequencies are back at a reasonable level. Off the coast of the Maritimes here, it's not, because these things, whatever they operate on, and maybe these gravity propulsion systems or whatever, are putting off a frequency that is so loud, but we can't,
or so low
or so loud that it's deafening to these whales that they don't want to be anywhere in the area, right? So they're just pushing away because whatever these things put off is unbearable for them.
Yeah, there's also, but that's also a possibility, because they have found not only have they been disappearing, but there's also been an unusual increase in the deaths of right whales. Like they have found the bodies and the remains of right whales, and a lot of them have died.
Why do it sound like you're saying right whales?
Well, they are right whales.
It's right whales?
Right whales, yeah. Right. North American. Right. North Atlantic. North Atlantic.
I thought you were trying to say white whales. I'm like, right, what the fuck does he keep saying right whales? What about the wrong whales?
There's actually been a number of the ones that they've found, and I found an interesting fact that they name the right whales, and some of the right whales are actually named after Marvel characters.
Well, that's fucking
they have
cool.
like a Mystique and a Wolverine, and they had a bunch of names from Marvel comics, which I thought was pretty great. But the sad thing is that they've been finding a lot of these right whales have been dying from undetermined causes.
That's sad.
Yeah, they're getting killed by alien infrasound technology.
Yeah, fuck
That's
off,
what's happening
aliens.
here.
Stop killing our whales.
Hey, listen.
Go on with ya.
Yeah, all right. Quick little fact. Although the blue whale is the largest whale and the largest animal on the planet, the nuts, the testes of the right whale are actually 10 times larger of that of the blue whale.
10 times?
From the
10
result
times, with each one weighing up to 525 kilograms.
Holy shit.
The biggest nuts in the world.
That's why they're dying.
right-
They keep sinking. Those are two fucking
Nuts are weighing them down.
Fuck.
This is a genetic flaw. A genetic flaw of the right whale.
You can't come up for breath.
No, they just sink.
Weighed down by these two fucking anchors.
500 kilogram testes.
Isn't that insane?
There you go.
Buddy,
Learn
that's
something new every day.
2,000 pounds of nuts on these whales.
Still smaller than Ron Ponds, though.
Yeah.
You got nothing wrong, pond.
Boys, that just adds to the fucking manly triangle right there.
Yeah.
This further proves it.
Manly as it gets. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of, stuff that could be, strange about this area, about perhaps what it is. Is it an underwater alien base? Is it, these extraterrestrial craft searching for something out there in the vicinity of Oak Island? It's not really clear. Some of these things can't be explained. There are other explanations that have been thrown up. I think another person said from the video, and that I think it is Hugh McCormack, who used to work at Prince Edward Island National Park.
Hold on. Hugh McCormack?
Hugh
That's a
McCormack.
fucking great name, too. I don't know why.
The founder of the McCormick Candy Banana franchise.
Is this
Yeah.
the McCormick Candy Banana Fortune
did this
here?
triangle just turn into a fucking square? Because I think we just got a fourth point.
I don't know about that. I give it I give it an 8 on the Jim Bruce scale.
I don't think that the name is spelled quite the same. It's McCormack, not McCormick.
Oh,
McCormack.
Forget it.
McCormack.
Cut 'em.
And it's the McCormick.
Back to
and
triangle.
Banana Fortune.
What is this guy at?
Well, Hugh McCormack used to work at the Prince Edward Island National Park in the mid 80s, and he believes what Shepard saw were actually parachute flares that had been dropped by Canadian military airplanes, because he cited that in the video, Shepard had commented that he had heard planes earlier, and that search and rescue exercises and regular training in that area is not unusual. But the thing would be that would kind of be easy to check. Now, I'm not sure if John Shepard would check. You could probably check that or do some due diligence and be like, hey, was there search and rescue training going on at that time? It wouldn't be that hard to check on that.
That's all public knowledge. It should be.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's also the explanation that people gave for the Phoenix Lights as well.
the parachute flares. I mean, how fucking long do those things hang in the sky?
Well, how long do they last to begin with? They don't last more than a couple minutes.
I mean,
I don't know, actually.
They don't.
Off the top
I
of my
looked it up.
head.
I looked it up. They only last a fucking longest they can last is 2 minutes.
I guess, yeah, that's a long burning flare too, 2 minutes to be dropped and burned for 2 minutes.
The average lasts between 30 and 40 seconds.
Right.
That just doesn't add up with what we've seen. You're talking, you're telling me the fucking ants thinking there's China lanterns, and these could have been just fucking flares floating in the sky there that we watched for 45 seconds. I doubt that. Right?
Doubtful.
Like parachute flares, they would fall. You would see, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. The only thing that I would say why I believe that people may attribute to that is that when you're watching the video of John Shepard, is that once they flick, it does seem to flicker out like a candle. I will give you that.
But the videos he has 25 minutes worth of video.
Exactly.
That just doesn't work.
Right? It doesn't work with a flare.
No.
It shouldn't burn that long.
No way.
Yeah, and I would agree with you guys on that, because it's you can't. That might be a convenient explanation to throw up there, but it also doesn't.
It's weak.
It's not why you would probably have more than one light out there, and especially the one, it's when you watch the video, you see the one primary light, the first one that appears, and then the second one appears right below it, and then that one disappears, and then but the still the original one remains. And you would think if they were perhaps flares, then that second one would disappear. The first one would disappear first, it would burn out for a flare, and then the second one would remain. But that's not the case.
Boys, it's all disinformation coming from fucking Manitoba. They just don't want anybody else to think that anyone else has Charlie Red Star. They're trying to keep that shit their thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fuck, our marketing. We're about to be ruined. No one's going to come to the prairies.
Manitoba's got its own IRA. Just fucking.
Nobody's going to read the one book published about Charlie Red Star.
Well, what about all the merch, Dan?
I don't think there's.
Are they going to move these fucking Charlie Red Star
merch
mugs
on the Charlie Red Star?
What are the t-shirts? The lanyards.
Buddy, the next NMA meeting is going to be, or NMO, New Manitoba Order meeting, where they're like, fucking, this is unprecedented. We need a kind of smear campaign right now. No one's going to come visit. We're ruined.
Ball lightning.
The keychains.
Fucking swamp
we have
gas.
every name of every Canadian in a keychain. With Charlie Red Star, he's going to be everywhere.
Think about all the fucking license plate keychains they got to move. Come on.
That's as far as most of this reach. So it's like we said, we've had this rise, or this unprecedented rise in UFO sightings across Canada. Not only in the Prince Edward area, but that place is not a stranger to UFO sightings. Like we've had the ones that John Shepard recorded. You've got the ones later that were at, whether that one is a plane or not, or easily explainable. You still have the UFO and Oak Island, and then you still have the ones that were recorded by the Anne. The Anns.
Go on with it then.
So you have to figure out why. What did John Shepard see? Was the Shag Harbor incident the precursor to a permanent, like extraterrestrials taking permanent residence?
Well, that's what we got to go with. Let's give some conclusions. So I'm going to start first. That's what I think. I think that these ETs that people see in this area, they're not like coming here. They're not coming from a distance, from a different galaxy. Good chance that there may be like some type of base or research station or drone launching facility, even if they're not actually like biological beings. This is like their robot factory that they've set up here. And these are like ET drones that are coming out of the ocean. And that's why you have so many sightings in this area. So I think that's kind of what it seems like, in my opinion, that they're not coming. Because why this spot? This is like a very low population density place.
Right, yeah.
So if it's not for the manliest triangle in the entire planet, and they're are they harvesting right whales, or the right whale is just dying because that they're there? I don't know. That's if I'm going to put my money on it, it's some type of underwater base ET drone facility. So that's what I'm going with.
It is convincing what you're saying. I do like that, because the official narratives for these stories, I'm like the Air Canada flight. I'm like, listen, one, if they're saying that there was an 11:40 Air Canada flight supposed to be at that time, I guarantee you that fucker didn't show up till 2 a.m. There's no fucking way that was anywhere on time.
Never on time.
And they lost
ludicrous.
your bags.
Or it was scheduled to arrive there and it left at like 2 p.m.
Or the flight didn't even exist, because that's happened. That's a thing.
Yeah, that's happened.
That's a thing. Sometimes you buy Air Canada flights, show up at the airport, they let you through the gates, they tell you to go to the gate, you go to the gate, and the flight you paid for doesn't exist.
Right. Should have just ate chicken fries instead.
But I think I agree with Zell on this one. I think that I don't know if it's necessarily a base, but perhaps there's a base set up. But I think it's maybe they're coming into different times, like from. If these things are traveling through time, they're popping up throughout in this area looking for something. Is that Oak Island? Perhaps it is. That's when we're looking at that area, that's really the best evidence I would have to say, like, well, what's in the area that would be of any kind of interest? And perhaps they're looking through time to try to find whatever's there, which also would add it on to why they never find anything on the show. Right? Because obviously someone's gone back further and already gotten what was there. Right?
I like that.
So we're seeing the first waves of these things coming back, right? Like they came back first in maybe 2021 and then 2018, 2017. Like we're not seeing them in linear order. Like maybe Shag Harbor was, one of the last sightings in their timeline because they've been going back.
I like that.
That's my theory.
Dan, what do you think? What's going on in the Maritimes of Canada here?
As our resident maritime export.
Yeah.
Export. He's an export.
He's our export.
Yeah.
Go on,
I'm a chapter expert. Well, the thing is that he said in the video, John Shepard goes on and say, I heard planes earlier. So, okay, you can hear planes. That's fine. There is an airport there. It is about 90 kilometers or maybe 100 about kilometers that is there. If he was facing in that direction, I'm not sure exactly 100% which direction he was facing at the time. That would help if I had more access to more details about the sighting. But just trying to reason it out from the evidence that we do have and the information that going into researching this is that perhaps it could have been a plane or something like that he saw. If these things were coming straight on at him from that airport, or he lined up right with that airport, it would seem like those lights were hovering. I know we've talked to guests on Cosmic Channels who are pilots, and they've talked about how when certain lights on a plane line up, like just the profile of the plane or the way that the plane is approaching you or whichever angle you're viewing it from, it can often seem like that. The fading in and out, that can be explained. We talked about in the Brown Mountain Lights, when we talked about that thing, certain atmospheric conditions, you can't see it. It's hard to see, right. But certain atmospheric conditions or changes in atmospheric pressure or, cloud cover or whatever can make lights seem like they're dimming and that they're changing brightness in such a way. So maybe it's something like that. If this were, again, it is a long video, but the lights are mainly stationary, which always gives me the idea that it's either something coming straight at him or it's something that was there.
Straight away.
It's just something that's hanging out there. So it's like a star or a planet or something else, like a satellite.
When the second one comes.
And then when the second one shows up.
You have no explanation for that.
But no, that could be something like the one could be a satellite or a plane, and then like the other one is a planet. Like it could be
a planet just shows up. Planet X.
Well, it comes up over the horizon.
No.
And then okay, because the sky doesn't move, right?
No, what I'm saying is I know what I saw with that eyes, and I'm saying that I'm like with my eyes with these two. Right. I've seen it. There's not a chance that you're explaining that off with like a planet randomly popped up over the clouds as something else perfectly like vanished. And they did that little flicker in unison and then one vanished and one came on and you're just like, wow. And someone happened to record 25 minutes of that. I'm like, to me, I'm like, I hear what you're saying. I like it. I like the soundness, but it doesn't quite explain to me what I saw in that video.
The other thing too, so if it's a plane, and you can see these visible lights from 160 miles away, and it's coming in to land. It doesn't move, right? Would it not land by then? It's 25 minutes. That doesn't make sense. The plane is moving faster than that. It would start.
It should go down.
It would start fucking. What's it? Why can't I think of it?
Descending. You had it.
It would start descending by then, would it not?
It would start air sinking.
Yeah, you would think. And it doesn't do that. All it does is give you a couple of these every once in a while. And we don't know if that's him because he's all jacked up on Mountain Dew or not.
I'm also not 100% sure how far he could see away, because if it were 20 minutes, I mean, he might be able to far out enough that it was just kept going straight at him at some point.
Maybe. I don't know. Here's the thing.
It was close enough to him that he describes it as a fucking top, right? So it's not just a light for him, right? We're seeing it as light because he's shooting it through the film, but he's sitting there being like, whatever this is, it looks like a spinning top.
Sure, yeah, it's a low resolution video. If we had better resolution of the video and we were actually there, you'd probably be able to make a better guess about what it is, or
confirm some of the observations that he made, which would be cool.
I don't like any of these fucking explanations. I don't like the plane. I don't like the fucking parachute flares. I don't like either of those. That being said, I need more than a fucking random light just kind of moving in the sky. Give me a little bit more. Just, I want to believe. I'm putting that out there. I'm trying not to be this fucking guy that I always am and being like, well, it's just a fucking random, like, give me something. Just fucking give me something. I want to see it move. I want to see it land. I want to see Martians come out of the fucking thing and they'll be like, there's fucking aliens.
Or you want to see it perform
alien.
maneuvers that are not, humanly possible
Exactly.
or man-made object possible. It's something that is like, it's not a celestial object because it's moving an erratic thing, or like it's shooting off into the sky. That's like, satellites don't do that. Never.
Give me the tic tac.
More stuff to see.
Give me the tic tac. Give me any of that. Give me the gimbal. Give me something like
Andrew,
that. I can buy in.
What's your thoughts on it?
I just tried giving it to you.
Oh,
That was it.
I need more. I just need a little bit more.
A little bit more.
I just need.
He wants to believe. He's almost there.
I'm trying.
He's almost there. Just needs a little bit more.
Trying. I'm excited to see this guy's movie though. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm
He's gonna
waiting.
play himself.
All right.
We'll invite him on.
We got a theory of the week.
Damn, Skip, we've got a theory of the week.
We got 2.
Dos, por favor.
We have 2 theorites of the week. We thought we had it locked up. We thought it was even Burmeister himself said this one wins for sure.
But he's wrong.
But he was wrong. We had to give it with a 2-time.
2-time.
Well, they're not. I'm not sure if they're 2-time, but we had to give a 2-time of the week. First,
tag team theorites of the week.
Tag team theorites of the week. So we got to give it first. I thought this was a lock all week. Nassim O'Brien made a clip on TikTok of us playing D&D where Braden in full orc fjord costume rips off his face and starts screaming. I got to play the video. I got the video.
Hold on. Before you play it,
cried.
I saw that video pop up on the Facebook group and I didn't watch the video. It just said when Braden goes full goat. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm back, baby.
I'm
Number
the
1,
goat.
greatest of all time. I'm the GOAT. And then these motherfuckers were like, yo, that's the
greatest of all theorites.
That I was like, this is the fucking funniest video. And I'm like, I never watched the video. I clicked it. And GOAT didn't mean greatest of all theorites or greatest of all time. It meant literal goat.
Here it is. I think we got the sound on here too.
When Braden goes full goat.
You want some of me?
And then that's the goat.
It's just the screaming goat.
When Braden goes full goat.
It's fucking phenomenal.
Oh, dude, it's just funny because you're screaming exactly like that famous YouTube video goat.
Yeah, it's
exactly the same. If you didn't watch that video, it's a D&D 15. Braden had full makeup and he rips off his face after about 14
You gotta
drinks.
watch it. That was mayhem, boys. I don't even really remember it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit after hours, but that one was pretty funny.
It was really funny. If you want to watch just that video I just played on the live stream, you could find it on the Facebook group. Search Alien Theorists Theorizing Theorites.
And
you'll find it. No problem.
So Nassim O'Brien.
Yep.
It's our half champ. We got another half champ
of the week. Half champ.
This one's unreal.
Champ 2 is from Sean Young Wolf Duffy, who was at Loch Ness. Which is like, okay, he took a picture at Loch Ness wearing an AT t-shirt. Like, that's pretty awesome.
That's fucking
awesome.
good.
That's
pretty
awesome.
Rad. And then he says in the comment,
so good.
Hey, I got a sign here. You might not be able to see it. You got to zoom in.
But I posted it for Zell.
That was really funny.
And then it says, may or may not have been created during the Younger Dryas.
That was really good. You had the foresight to print that out. That you're like, I'm going to print this out and take this with me to Loch Ness. Like that.
Guy's a beauty.
Really
Guy's a fucking beauty.
And then he posted it on the Loch
Ness
Ness sign. Like, that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Guy's a beaut. That was hilarious.
So you can also find that one on the Facebook group. Oh, we're going to start posting these more on Instagram and Twitter and other places.
Yeah.
We're a little lazy on that.
Yeah,
but,
save
we'll
those
get better.
2 and I'll post them tomorrow and maybe I'll go find them and post them. Just send them in the group chat.
Yeah, they're
Screenshot
just 2 great theorites making great
Hey,
content.
Gold. That was gold.
In
both.
In 2 different spectrums of awesomeness.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. All right.
Hey, before you get into this, before you hit the cue music,
what's up?
Again, we left Spotify, and we've definitely felt the outpour of support from Patreon, and it showed with tons of new Patreon supporters. We can't thank you guys enough. So with that, Sal, cue the fucking music.
Cue it, baby.
It's gonna be. You better put it on loop because it's gonna take a while.
We gotta put it on loop. We've already made the pitch. If you're not supporting on Patreon, get on it.
Do it.
All right, this week's newest Patreon supporters: James Trainer, Avis Lee, Andrew Sproul, Nick Alfaro, Ronnie Pondius.
Oh yeah,
great fucking name. Roman Ron Pondius. Tina Patello Jr. Manstralian. It's great. Benjamin G. Jayarna Slater. Nick Esparza goes up to the $10 Ron Pond approved pledge.
I dig it.
Deborah Porter. Spencer Board. Todd Clement. Diane Rhodes goes up the Ron Pond tier. Hey, our good buddy, friend of the show, D. Lopez. Woo! Supporting the show.
Making that Pinot money.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. He's D. Lopez, go check him out. He's on Spotify. He's on everywhere.
And Pornhub.
Great dude. And Pornhub. Hey! Full year pledge by arguably AFL. Baphomet's Titty. Raymond. Baphomet's Titty. Raymond Flores. Kyle Asieta. Oh, this is great. This is great. Harry Balls.
Nice.
Clever.
That's in a man triangle.
Yeah. Poop Master.
Nice.
Matt Schwitte. Love it. Lamar. Really? Lamar Scrotum? Really? Pops Johnson. Rick Bus. Fernando Roma. A full year pledge by Nazish Ahmad. Or Ahmed. Ben Vosler. Thank you very much for supporting the show. You're all fucking beauties. We love you all. Absolute legends.
And as we always say at the end of these things, keep those eyes on the sky. See you in after hours.